So, Dennis, just a real basic question about estate planning. Why don't you tell us about a will and how that's used?
Okay. A will always go through probate. And so when a person dies, the will contains their wishes for what they want to happen with their possessions.
Okay, so it's a document that states exactly what they want to have happen with their possessions.
Right.
Okay.
And the court will use that document to be able to administer those assets and make sure what they've put in that will is actually what happens.
Okay.
And that is accomplished.
Is that the probate process?
That's the probate process.
Okay.
It's a court-supervised process that makes sure that the wishes that have been placed in the will actually are fulfilled.
Okay. And so an attorney has to help draft this?
An attorney always drafts any legal document.
Okay.
If you really wanted to make sure it works, you want to always have an attorney to draft the document. But an attorney also has to be involved in the probate process, which the wills are usually less expensive to prepare, but then the cost comes when you get to the probate process, and that can vary by state. And some states have a very low cost and time threshold for a will. Others are very costly and have a significant amount of time that it takes to process a will through probate.
Okay. So, Dennis, tell me about trusts. And this seems like something that comes up often when talking about estate plans, but how do they really operate?
Okay, a trust usually costs a little more than a will when you're having it prepared. But where you save money on a trust is that after the person passes away, you don't have to have probate, you don't have to involve attorneys. So it costs more in the beginning, you save the money in the end.
Okay.
So also the trust is to avoid probate. When you sign a trust, that's just the beginning of the process. When we have a will, you sign it, you're done. You just have to maybe review it periodically and make sure it's still doing what you want it to do. A trust, when you sign it, you have to transfer the ownership of your possessions into the trust.
Okay.
And that's how the trust avoids probate, is because it's the owner.
Okay, so the trust is actually owning the asset. So it's like a separate entity then, or?
That's right. Just like you are a legal person, I'm a legal person. The trust is, in the eyes of the law, is also a legal person.
Okay.
The difference between a trust being a legal person and you and I being a legal person is that you and I breathe.
Okay.
That's right. A trust does not breathe.
Okay.
And so that's how a trust avoids probate, is it never dies.
Okay. It can never stop breathing.
It never starts breathing and never stops breathing.
Yeah.
So it never dies. And so probate only happens when the owner of possessions dies.
Okay.
And so because a trust never dies, it never has probate. It can cease to exist. Once it's served its purpose, it will go out of existence, but it never dies.
So when does the trust know to distribute the property that is in the trust then?
Well, you have a trustee that is in charge of the trust.
Okay.
And that trustee is the one who actually follows how the trust has been directed by the person who has passed away, what they wanted done. The trustee follows those directions and then transfers the assets as directed by the document.
Okay. So when the person who creates the trust, when they die, then the instructions in the trust say, okay, distribute the assets in the trust to these individuals or organizations.
That's correct. It could be going to charities. It could be going to grandchildren. It could be going to children.
Okay. Well, thank you for helping us understand the difference or how a trust works.